"I need a husband by tomorrow," she said. I replied, "Then you'll have to live at my place." In the bustling central square, humans and aliens alike moved in an intricate dance of commerce and conversation. Floating vehicles zipped past transparent skyways, and merchants displayed exotic wares, glowing fruits from distant planets, fabrics that shimmered with color-changing patterns, and devices that hummed with intelligence of their own. Among all this, Leora walked briskly, her mind focused, her hands clutching a small datapad like a shield. Leora was not someone who usually hurried. She was a brilliant engineer, known for creating devices that made life easier for humans and aliens alike. Yet today, she moved as if the city itself were trying to swallow her whole. She glanced around nervously, checking her surroundings, though not because she feared danger. The city was perfectly safe. More than that, it was a marvel of engineering. But because she had a very particular problem and she was running out of time, she stopped at a small cafe, its tables hovering slightly above the ground. The aroma of roasted spices mixed with the crisp scent of ionized air from the city's generators. Leora tapped her datapad impatiently, reading the same message for the 10th time. Husband required by tomorrow for social compliance. Failure results in career suspension. She groaned. The message made perfect sense to the colony's administrators, who loved rules almost as much as they loved paperwork. But to Leora, it felt absurd. She had 24 hours to acquire a husband, a legal partner, as defined by the colony's ancient customs, to qualify for the position she had worked her entire life to achieve. And as far as she knew, there were no humans or aliens willing to enter such a rushed arrangement. Her gaze drifted to a nearby balcony, where a man leaned casually against the railing, his posture relaxed yet confident. He was watching the city with a quiet amusement, as if he found the chaos below entertaining rather than stressful. Leora felt a spark of desperation. That man was Kai. Kai was an ambassador, a human admired by many for his calm intellect, his skill at diplomacy, and his uncanny ability to remain cheerful even in impossible situations. And right now, Leora realized, he was her only hope. She approached him, her steps brisk but steady. "Kai," she said, voice slightly breathless, "I need your help, and it's urgent." Kai turned to her, eyebrows raised. "You look panicked. What's wrong?" "I need a husband." "By tomorrow," she said, speaking quickly as if speed might somehow convince him. "And I don't have one." Kai blinked. Then in the calmest voice imaginable he said, "Then you'll have to live at my place." Leora froze. For a moment the noise of the city seemed to fade. Did he really just say that? "Yes," Kai continued, as if the answer were obvious. "You'll stay at my residence until the bureaucrats approve your application. It's safer and it gives you time to adjust." Leora hesitated. Stay with a stranger. Not just a stranger, but someone as composed and confident as Kai. But there was no other choice. Her career was at stake, and every minute wasted brought her closer to failure. "Fine," she said, her tone sharp but resigned. "Let's go." Kai's residence was an architectural marvel. It hovered slightly above the ground, supported by magnetic fields that kept it perfectly stable despite the winds that swept across the city. Its walls were made of transparent material, offering a panoramic view of Novara, yet the interior remained private and secure. The moment Leora stepped inside, she felt the hum of advanced technology everywhere. Lights that adjusted to her mood, doors that opened with thought commands, and a small AI assistant hovering nearby, ready to answer any question. "This place is impressive," she admitted, walking slowly as if the house itself demanded respect. Kai smiled faintly. "It's home, for now at least. Don't worry, you'll get used to it." The AI assistant, a small orb with shifting patterns of light, floated toward her. "Welcome, Leora. I am Aura, your domestic assistant during your stay. If you require anything, clothes, food, or guidance on household systems, please ask." Leora blinked. A guidance on the coffee machine would be a start. Aura hummed and displayed a holographic diagram. Coffee preparation protocol uploaded. As she followed the instructions, Leora realized something. Despite the urgency of her situation, the house was welcoming, not cold or intimidating like the bureaucrats she had been dealing with, but alive in a way. Kai observed quietly, sipping a drink he had prepared himself. "I should warn you," he said, "living here will be different. You'll encounter strange systems, unexpected challenges, and occasionally my own strange habits." Leora laughed, a short, relieved sound. Different is better than impossible. Over the next few hours, she explored the residence. There was a kitchen that practically cooked for itself, a library that updated with new data every hour, and a balcony that overlooked the colony's central square. She found herself fascinated, her engineer's mind analyzing the designs, the efficiency, and the unusual touches of creativity Kai had included. Kai watched her with quiet amusement. He was used to humans marveling at alien technology, but there was something different about Leora. Her curiosity wasn't passive, it was active, searching, evaluating, thinking. She reminded him of why humans were remarkable, their relentless adaptability, their ability to see solutions where others saw problems. As evening approached, Leora grew more anxious. She had yet to prepare for the bureaucratic inspection that would determine her career fate. She turned to Kai. "I need your help with the compliance protocols," she said. "I don't even know where to start." Kai stood, adjusting his coat. "Then we start with the basics. First, understanding what the inspectors value. Second, showing them that you can handle the tasks they assign. And third, well, humans have a secret advantage, creativity." Leora frowned. "Creativity? They don't care about creativity. They care about protocol and deadlines." Kai smiled. "Exactly. And that's where we'll surprise them." The night passed in a blur of preparation. Leora learned to operate the AI, to navigate the strange systems in Kai's home, and to adapt her skills to unfamiliar circumstances. Despite the ticking clock of the husband by tomorrow requirement, she began to feel capable, empowered even. By the time the first rays of dawn filtered through the panoramic windows, Leora realized something important. She might just pull this off. Not because she had a husband, but because she was human, and humans had a unique combination of ingenuity, resilience, and adaptability that no protocol could predict. Kai, watching her from across the room, allowed himself a rare smile. Perhaps he had underestimated the excitement of a challenge. Perhaps, in this unexpected partnership, both of them would learn something extraordinary. Outside, the city of Novara continued to hum with life, oblivious to the small human drama unfolding in the sky-high residence. But inside, Leora and Kai were preparing for a challenge that would test every ounce of their intelligence, patience, and creativity. And neither of them had any idea just how remarkable humans could appear in the eyes of alien evaluators. For the first time, Leora felt a spark of hope. Perhaps she could meet the impossible deadline. Perhaps she could navigate the absurdity of rules and expectations. Perhaps, most importantly, she could prove that humans were more than capable, brilliant, even, when faced with challenges that required more than strength or technology. And so, with the sun rising over the city, Leora prepared herself for the day ahead. Tomorrow she would need a husband, but today she was just human, brilliant, clever, adaptable, and ready for anything. The morning sunlight streamed through the large, transparent windows of Kai's residence, filling the room with warmth and energy. Leora sat at the edge of a sleek, hovering chair, her eyes scanning a holographic projection of the colony's bureaucratic protocols. Her fingers tapped the air, dragging forms, schedules, and lists into neat columns. Every few seconds she muttered to herself, trying to memorize everything before the inspectors arrived. Kai entered the room carrying a tray with 2 steaming cups of synth coffee. "Morning," he said lightly, setting the drinks down beside her. "Did you sleep at all?" Leora shook her head. "Not really. I kept thinking about everything I have to do today. If I make a mistake, my career is over." Kai smiled, though it didn't reach his eyes. "Mistakes happen. What matters is how you fix them." He gestured to the holographic display. "Let's start by going over the compliance checklist. There's a lot of alien observation involved, and humans often underestimate the importance of small details." Leora groaned. "I already know that, but what kind of small details? Their rules are strange. They want a husband, but they also want perfect adherence to etiquette and protocol." Kai leaned against the wall, watching her closely. "Exactly, but notice this. It's not just rules they care about, it's adaptability. If you can respond correctly when something unexpected happens, they consider that highly valuable." Leora raised an eyebrow. "So being human is an advantage." "Among other things," Kai said, sipping his coffee. "Humans think creatively, you improvise. You handle uncertainty better than many species." Leora sighed, though a faint smile tugged at her lips. "I hope you're right, because I don't think I have a husband, and I definitely don't have 24 hours to get one." Kai chuckled. "Don't worry about that. For the purposes of this inspection, living together counts, but we need to make it look convincing, domestically and socially." Before Leora could respond, Aura, the AI assistant, floated toward them. Its light flickered softly as it spoke. "Good morning, Leora. I have uploaded the latest colony protocols for your review. Additionally, there are alien delegates arriving today for observation. Coordination with Kai is recommended." Leora blinked. "Delegates, today? Why couldn't they come yesterday?" Kai shrugged. "They love surprises. And if they didn't, it wouldn't be Novara." By mid-morning, Leora was running around the residence, trying to adjust to both the alien protocols and Kai's strange but efficient household. She discovered that even making breakfast was a challenge. The synth kitchen could prepare any meal perfectly, but it required commands spoken in a mix of human and alien phrasing. One wrong word, and the blender activated for 10 minutes straight, splattering batter across the counter. Kai appeared in the doorway, laughing softly. "I told you it would be strange, but don't worry, every mistake is a learning opportunity." Leora huffed, brushing off batter. "I'd rather learn without getting my hands dirty." Kai shook his head. "Humans rarely do, you learn by doing." Despite the mishaps, Leora noticed something remarkable. Her improvisation impressed Aura. The AI began suggesting alternative methods for commands and even complimented her on her efficiency. She couldn't help but smile. Maybe her human ingenuity was making a difference, even in small ways. Later, the alien delegates arrived, a group of 4, each from different star systems, with forms and colors unfamiliar to human eyes. Their limbs moved in synchronized patterns, their eyes glowed softly, and their voices resonated in harmonics that made Leora feel slightly dizzy at first. They were observers, not hostile, but their presence made the stakes feel incredibly high. Kai greeted them calmly, bowing slightly in the alien manner. "Welcome to my home. I am Kai, ambassador of Earth, and this is Leora, an engineer of great skill and adaptability." One delegate tilted its head, its harmonic voice translating into human speech. "You have 24 cycles before evaluation. The domestic simulation must be convincing. Begin." Leora swallowed nervously. 24 cycles, less than a day, before their observation could determine her career fate. Kai took her hand briefly. "Relax. Follow my lead, but also trust your instincts. Remember, the human strength is creativity and empathy. That's what will impress them." The first part of the evaluation was simple but nerve-wracking, a demonstration of daily domestic coordination. The delegates observed as Leora and Kai prepared a meal together. Leora found herself improvising constantly. The kitchen required a precise rhythm of words and gestures, which did not always match the alien protocols embedded in the synth assistant. She began signaling Kai with subtle hand movements, creating an unspoken system of communication. Kai noticed immediately. "I like your style," he whispered, as they adjusted the sequence to produce a perfect meal in record time. Aura floated around, projecting holographic feedback for the delegates. "Efficiency, high. Adaptability, excellent. Creativity, notable," Leora blinked. "Did it just compliment me?" Kai grinned. "You're doing well, keep going." Next, the evaluation moved outside, where the delegates observed them handling unexpected domestic tasks in the residence's garden. A small, floating drone meant to water the plants malfunctioned, spinning unpredictably. Leora quickly grabbed a tool, adjusted its programming, and guided it back on track. The delegates murmured in harmonic tones, clearly impressed. They had seen many species struggle with even the simplest adaptive challenges, yet humans thrived in improvisation. Kai whispered to her, "See, they're noticing how you think. That's the real test, not the protocol itself." Leora smiled despite her nerves. She was beginning to feel confident. The day continued with more unusual challenges. Leora and Kai had to host a ceremonial tea, in which the delegates expected flawless coordination of both human and alien customs. Leora's knowledge of human etiquette clashed with Kai's mix of alien-inspired protocols. Yet they adapted, laughing softly when minor mistakes occurred, which the delegates noted as positive human behavior, grace under pressure. At one point, an alien delegate accidentally triggered a holographic display that covered the room in shifting patterns of light and sound. Leora quickly guided Kai to use the patterns creatively, turning them into part of the ceremony rather than a disruption. One of the delegates leaned forward, harmonic voice resonating softly. "Human adaptability is extraordinary. You make challenges into opportunities." Leora felt a thrill. This wasn't just about passing a bureaucratic test. She was showing the aliens in real time why humans were remarkable. By evening, the initial evaluation was complete. The delegates retreated to deliberate, leaving Leora and Kai alone in the quiet, humming house. Leora sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. "I can't believe we pulled it off. That was intense." Kai smiled, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "Not just pulled it off. You impressed them. Humans often underestimate what they're capable of, but you made creativity and empathy shine." Leora laughed softly. "I never thought preparing breakfast and a tea ceremony could be considered brilliance." Kai shook his head. "In Novara, brilliance isn't just about power or technology. It's about seeing opportunities, solving problems creatively, and working together. That's the human way." Aura floated closer, its lights flickering warmly. "Evaluation phase 1 complete. Feedback is highly positive." "Leora, your adaptive skills have been noted and praised." Leora smiled, feeling a rare warmth of pride. For the first time that day, she allowed herself to relax. She had survived the first part of the evaluation. She had lived up to the challenge. And more importantly, she had discovered something profound. Humans were not just capable, they were remarkable, especially when allowed to improvise and collaborate. Kai leaned back, watching her. "Tomorrow will be harder," he said softly. "But today, you proved something important. You're ready for whatever comes next." Outside, the city of Novara glittered under the twin moons, oblivious to the small human drama unfolding in Kai's residence. Inside, Leora and Kai shared a quiet moment of triumph, knowing that this was only the beginning. And somewhere deep inside her, Leora realized that she was learning more than just how to pass a bureaucratic evaluation. She was learning what it meant to be human, and why humans could shine even in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, unexpected tests, strangely brilliant alien observers. But today, Leora had discovered her own brilliance. And that, she realized with a quiet thrill, was worth more than any title or career advancement. The night sky over Novara was alive with streaks of light from orbiting ships and distant satellites. Inside Kai's residence, Leora paced the sleek floor, her mind buzzing. The first phase of the evaluation had gone surprisingly well. The alien delegates had been impressed by her adaptability, her ability to think creatively, and the subtle coordination she and Kai had managed in the household. Yet despite the success, she felt a lingering unease. Something about the whole husband by tomorrow requirement didn't make sense. She had asked the colony administrators for clarification, but the replies were vague, full of bureaucratic jargon. The requirement was legal, formal, and serious, yet no one could explain why a human's marital status mattered in this particular context. Kai noticed her tension as he entered the room with a tray of evening refreshments. "You're thinking too hard," he said gently. "What's wrong?" Leora paused, frowning. "It's all so strange. Why the urgency? Why the husband? I understand the inspection protocol, but there's something behind it, something they're not telling me." Kai set the tray down and leaned against the wall. "Sometimes the rules themselves are a test. Maybe the bureaucracy is designed to see how humans respond under pressure. You've been remarkable so far, Leora. Don't let uncertainty shake you." Leora shook her head. "No, Kai, it's more than that. I think this isn't just about paperwork or appearances. I think this test is bigger than we realize." Before Kai could respond, Aura floated closer, its soft lights flickering in thought. "Leora, I have accessed restricted colony archives. There is information you may wish to consider. It concerns the nature of the husband requirement and its origin in cross-species evaluation programs." Leora stopped pacing. "What do you mean?" Aura projected a holographic timeline, showing a complex network of interactions between humans and alien species across the galaxy. The husband requirement is part of a program designed to test human qualities beyond mere obedience or intelligence. It evaluates creativity, emotional intelligence, and adaptability under unpredictable conditions. Your responses are observed by alien delegates who interpret your actions as data regarding human potential. Leora blinked. "So, this isn't just bureaucracy." "Correct," Aura said. "It is a simulation, a test of human ingenuity and moral decision-making. Success is not measured by compliance alone, but by innovation, empathy, and collaboration." Kai's eyes widened slightly. "That explains a lot. The delegates' interest in your improvisation, the challenges they create, it's all intentional. They're measuring how humans handle complexity and uncertainty." Leora sank into a chair, absorbing the revelation. "So all those mistakes I made, the kitchen chaos, the tea ceremony, the drone in the garden, they weren't failures. They were part of the evaluation." Kai nodded. "Exactly, and judging by Aura's feedback, you're excelling." A sudden thought struck Leora. "Wait, if this is a test, and it's designed to push humans to their limits, does that mean we might actually influence how they view humanity?" Kai smiled faintly. "I think that's the idea. Humans are unpredictable in a good way. You improvise, you adapt, and you create solutions that no algorithm could predict. That's what makes you remarkable." Leora's mind raced. If the aliens were observing every action, every choice, every reaction, then she had an opportunity. She could not only survive this evaluation, she could demonstrate the brilliance of humans. The next morning, Leora and Kai began planning their approach for the second phase of the evaluation. This phase involved interacting with multiple alien systems and delegations, performing tasks that required both technical skill and social intelligence. Leora felt a surge of excitement. For the first time, she wasn't just following instructions. She was thinking strategically, trying to maximize her strengths. Their first task involved coordinating a network of alien drones used for maintenance across the colony. The drones operated under a complex hierarchy, each with different priorities and protocols. Humans had historically struggled to manage them without triggering malfunctions. Leora approached the challenge methodically. She examined the drones, analyzed their logic structures, and began creating a system that allowed them to operate in harmony while still accommodating unexpected events. Kai assisted, observing and occasionally offering insights based on his diplomatic experience. Within minutes, the drones responded smoothly to Leora's system. One drone even corrected a minor programming error autonomously, a result of the flexible commands she had designed. Aura floated nearby, projecting the delegates' live reactions. Observation, human ingenuity is significant. Integration of creative problem-solving exceeds expected parameters. Leora couldn't help but grin. "We did it," she whispered. Kai nodded, his eyes reflecting pride and amusement. Later, the evaluation required Leora and Kai to interact with an alien artifact, a complex device whose purpose was partially unknown. The delegates wanted to see how humans approach the unknown, whether they would panic, follow rigid instructions, or explore creatively. Leora approached the artifact with careful curiosity. Its surfaces shimmered with unfamiliar energy patterns. She extended a hand, feeling a subtle vibration, and began experimenting with small adjustments. Kai observed silently, knowing better than to interfere unless asked. The artifact responded to her changes, revealing a hidden interface. Leora's eyes lit up. She recognized the logic behind it, a kind of pattern recognition and trial-and-error system. With patience and subtle ingenuity, she unlocked its functions, activating a sequence of lights and harmonic sounds. The delegates tilted their heads in fascination. One spoke in harmonic tones, translated by aura. Human approach demonstrates adaptive intelligence and creativity. Remarkable. Leora exhaled slowly. She had never felt such a mixture of relief and pride. This wasn't just about passing a test. It was about proving humans could thrive in environments no one else could master. By midday, they faced the final challenge of the phase, a social coordination exercise. Leora and Kai had to mediate a minor dispute between two alien assistants whose programming conflicted with one another. The goal was to observe human empathy, negotiation skills, and creativity under pressure. Leora listened carefully to both parties, identifying the underlying cause of the conflict. She proposed a solution that incorporated both assistance protocols while introducing a human-style compromise, flexibility, and mutual respect. Kai assisted by translating subtle nuances between the assistants' communication patterns, ensuring that the compromise would be acceptable to both. The delegates watched silently, their harmonic voices registering slight approval. Within minutes, the conflict was resolved and the assistants operated in perfect synchrony. Aura displayed the feedback clearly. Human empathy combined with creative problem-solving is superior to expectation. Evaluation, highly favorable. Leora felt a glow of satisfaction. She had never considered herself a diplomat, yet here she was, mediating alien disagreements with a blend of patience, observation, and ingenuity. Humans were capable of more than even she realized. As evening approached, Leora and Kai finally had a quiet moment together. They sat on the balcony overlooking the city below. Twin moons glimmered above, reflecting off the towers and skyways. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of the alien gardens below. "You've done incredibly well today," Kai said quietly. "Not just in the tasks themselves, but in how you handled the pressure. Most humans would crumble, but you," he paused, letting the compliment hang. "You adapted." Leora smiled, feeling a rare warmth of satisfaction. "It wasn't easy," she admitted. "But knowing why we're doing it, knowing that it's a test of our creativity and humanity, it makes sense. It gives me purpose." Kai nodded. "Exactly, and that's what they're observing, humans in action under pressure and still capable of brilliance." Leora leaned back, thinking. For the first time, she understood the bigger picture. The husband requirement was more than a rule. It was a window for humans to demonstrate their strengths to civilizations far more advanced than their own. Every mistake, every adaptation, every act of empathy was a statement. Humans could think, feel, and create in ways that no protocol could fully predict. She turned to Kai. "Do you think we've really changed how they see humans?" Kai smiled faintly. "We've shown them something remarkable, but the final evaluation hasn't happened yet. That's tomorrow," Leora nodded. "Tomorrow, the real test. I'm ready." Kai reached out, placing a reassuring hand on hers. "We'll face it together. And whatever happens, you've already proven that humans are extraordinary." Outside, the city of Novara glimmered under the light of the twin moons. Inside, Leora felt a profound sense of clarity. She wasn't just trying to survive a test. She was demonstrating what it meant to be human, showing that ingenuity, empathy, and creativity could triumph even under the most unusual circumstances. And as she looked out over the city, she realized something else. No matter how strange, how unpredictable, or how challenging the next day might be, she was ready. Humans could adapt. Humans could improvise. Humans could shine. Tomorrow, the final evaluation would begin. And Leora, with Kai by her side, would meet it with all the intelligence, courage, and creativity that defined humanity. The dawn over Novara was soft, with the twin suns casting golden streaks across the city. Leora sat at the edge of the balcony, watching the first hovercrafts glide between the towers. Today was the final day of evaluation, the moment she and Kai had been preparing for. Her heart thumped with anticipation, but it wasn't fear. It was excitement. Today she would show the aliens what humans could do. Kai joined her, carrying 2 steaming cups of synth coffee. "Morning," he said, his tone calm but focused. "Are you ready?" Leora took a deep breath and nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be," Kai smiled. "Good. Remember, the strength of humans is not in brute force or speed. It's in creativity, empathy, and problem-solving. You've already proven that. Today, you just have to keep being yourself." She smiled faintly, taking the cup. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The delegates arrived promptly, their alien forms shimmering softly as they entered Kai's residence. Today, their observation would cover multiple tasks designed to test every facet of human capability: domestic coordination, technical problem-solving, social intelligence, and improvisation under pressure. Leora and Kai began with the first task. A network of floating maintenance drones had been deliberately overloaded with conflicting instructions. Their challenge was to reorganize the network so that each drone performed its task without error, all while adapting to unexpected malfunctions. Leora scanned the drones, her mind moving quickly. "Kai, if we separate them into 3 control groups, each with a different protocol but connected by a central logic hub, we can manage the conflicts." Kai nodded. "Go for it. I'll monitor the network and relay the delegates' feedback." With deft hands and quick thinking, Leora reorganized the drone network. One drone spun erratically, but she improvised a temporary override, adjusting its commands mid-flight. Another drone hesitated over a delicate plant, threatening to crush it, but Leora used a subtle energy pulse to redirect it safely. Aura floated nearby, projecting real-time evaluation to the delegates. Observation. Human ingenuity in real-time problem-solving is exceptional. Adaptive thinking exceeds expected performance, Leora exhaled. "That went better than I expected." Kai smiled faintly. "It's not about expectations, it's about results, and the results are impressive." Next came the technical challenge. A mysterious alien device had been placed in the living room, a cube of shifting colors and strange textures, humming with energy. The delegates wanted to see how humans approached the unknown, whether they would panic, follow rigid rules, or explore creatively. Leora examined the cube. Its surfaces pulsed with light, shifting patterns every few seconds. She ran her hands along its sides, feeling subtle vibrations, listening to the faint hum. Kai, it's reactive. I think it responds to rhythm and pattern. Watch. She tapped a sequence, experimenting with different rhythms. The cube responded, opening panels that revealed smaller, intricate mechanisms inside. Kai watched, impressed, but refrained from interrupting. Leora's eyes lit up. It's a puzzle. A test of logic and creativity combined. She adjusted the patterns, shifting them in harmony with subtle vibrations she could feel through the floor. Slowly, the cube began to stabilize, glowing softly with a harmonic resonance. The delegates observed silently. One leaned forward, its harmonic voice translating. Human approach demonstrates adaptive intelligence and creative problem-solving. Remarkable. Leora felt a thrill of pride. This was more than a test. This was proof that humans could master the unexpected through thought, observation, and ingenuity. The final task was the social coordination challenge. Two alien assistants, both highly intelligent but programmed with conflicting directives, were placed in a simulation of a ceremonial event. The goal was to mediate their differences while maintaining harmony in the event's execution. Leora listened carefully to their communication, recognizing subtle nuances that could cause conflicts. Kai assisted by translating the assistants, more abstract signals into something Leora could understand. Here, what we'll do, Leora whispered. We'll divide the tasks according to their strengths but create a shared goal that requires cooperation. Neither will feel dominated and both will have autonomy. Kai nodded. And I'll handle the timing so their actions synchronize perfectly. Together, they implemented the plan. Leora mediated small disagreements, offering compromises that respected the assistant's protocols. Kai adjusted the flow of the event to accommodate subtle mismatches in timing. Aura projected the live evaluation. Observation, human empathy, creative negotiation, and coordination under stress are superior. Evaluation, highly favorable. Adaptability and collaboration noted. The assistants operated flawlessly. The delegates murmured among themselves, clearly impressed. Leora allowed herself a small smile. Humans could negotiate conflict, understand different perspectives, and create solutions that no programmed system could predict. As the day progressed, challenges became increasingly unpredictable. The delegates introduced minor malfunctions in drones, unexpected shifts in protocol, and even subtle changes in the ceremonial rules. Leora and Kai adapted seamlessly, improvising solutions and coordinating their actions with precision. Each time a new challenge arose, Leora felt a surge of excitement rather than fear. This was why humans were remarkable. They could observe, analyze, improvise, and act with both intelligence and empathy. Every small victory reinforced her confidence. At one point, an unexpected event occurred. A small drone carrying delicate crystal samples began to spin out of control. Leora acted instinctively, using a combination of subtle gestures and energy pulses to stabilize it. Kai provided precise timing adjustments. The delegates watched silently, then emitted a harmonic tone that translated as approval. Human improvisation demonstrates exceptional adaptive capability, notable excellence. Leora laughed softly. I can't believe we're being praised for stopping a drone from spinning in circles. Kai grinned. It's not the drone, it's how you responded under pressure. That's what matters. By evening, the final observation period was coming to a close. The delegates had witnessed humans solving complex problems, negotiating conflicts, and improvising under stress. Leora felt both exhausted and exhilarated. She had never worked so hard in her life, yet she had never felt more alive. Kai stood beside her, his expression thoughtful. You've done it, Leora. You've shown them what humans are capable of. You didn't just follow instructions, you innovated, adapted, and led. Leora shook her head, smiling despite the fatigue. I didn't do it alone. You helped too, Kai and Aura. She glanced at the floating AI assistant whose lights flickered softly. "You were amazing." Aura responded warmly, "Collaboration successful, human qualities observed and noted, evaluation phase complete." The delegates, their harmonic voices softening, made their final remarks. "Human adaptability, creativity, and empathy exceed expectations. Observation complete. Outcome highly favorable." Leora felt a rush of relief and pride. She had faced the impossible, the unexpected, and the bizarre, and humans had shown. After the delegates departed, Leora and Kai sat together in the quiet of the residence. The city lights twinkled below, reflections of alien technology and human ingenuity interwoven in the urban landscape. "Today was incredible," Leora said softly. "I didn't just survive a test. I proved that humans can think, adapt, and thrive in ways others can't." Kai nodded. "Exactly. Humans are remarkable because you don't just rely on rules or strength. You improvise, empathize, and create solutions that no algorithm could predict. Today, you showed that brilliantly." Leora leaned back, letting out a long breath. "And to think, it all started with needing a husband by tomorrow." Kai chuckled. "Sometimes the strangest requirements bring out the best in humans." Leora smiled, her heart light for the first time in hours. She had faced the ultimate challenge and emerged not just successful, but celebrated, not for following rules, but for being human. As the twin moons rose high above Novara, she realized something profound. No matter what the galaxy threw at humans, their creativity, empathy, and adaptability would always allow them to thrive. Today, she had not only passed a test, she had proven that humanity was extraordinary. And with Kai beside her, sharing both the work and the triumph, Leora felt certain that the final phase, whatever it held, could only solidify what they had already achieved. Humans could shine even in the most challenging circumstances, and she had just lived proof of that. Tomorrow would bring reflection, resolution, and recognition. But tonight, she allowed herself to feel proud, knowing she had met the impossible and shown the galaxy why humans were, indeed, exceptional. The morning over Novara shimmered with a quiet brilliance. Twin suns cast long, golden beams across the city, illuminating the floating walkways and towers in dazzling light. Leora sat at the edge of Kai's balcony, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of synth coffee. Today was not a test. Today was the moment of recognition, the day the alien delegates would officially acknowledge humans' capabilities. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The past days had been a whirlwind of challenges, improvisations, and revelations. She had faced drones spinning out of control, cryptic alien artifacts, and complex social coordination exercises. And yet, here she was, still standing, still confident, and perhaps more importantly, still human. Kai appeared beside her, holding a tray with 2 cups of coffee and a small plate of pastries. "Ready?" he asked, his tone calm, grounding her. Leora smiled faintly. "I think so, though part of me feels like the real challenge is walking into that room and acting normal." Kai chuckled. "Normal is overrated, just be yourself. That's what impressed them in the first place." The alien delegates arrived promptly, their forms shimmering with subtle, harmonic patterns. They moved with the grace of beings unbound by gravity, their voices resonating softly, creating a harmonic hum that seemed to blend with the city's energy. "Humans," one delegate spoke, its tones translating clearly, "your evaluations have been complete. Your performance demonstrates qualities not previously observed at this level. Today, you shall receive formal recognition." Leora's heart skipped a beat. Formal recognition. This was more than passing a test. This was a statement. Humans were capable of brilliance that even advanced civilizations could not ignore. Kai gently squeezed her hand. "You've earned this, Leora. You've shown them the human way, creativity, empathy, adaptability, all of it." Leora took a deep breath, stepping forward with him as the delegates prepared to announce their findings. The first part of the recognition involved a detailed review of the previous challenges. Holographic displays showed her actions, stabilizing drones, decoding alien artifacts, mediating social conflicts, and improvising when protocols shifted unexpectedly. Each moment was highlighted with commentary from the delegates, noting her ingenuity, quick thinking, and capacity for empathy. Leora felt a warm thrill of pride. She had done this, not by following rigid instructions, but by observing, thinking, and acting with humanity in every step. One of the delegates tilted its head, harmonic tones flowing softly. "Your approach is exemplary. Humans demonstrate a rare combination of logic, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Such qualities allow for solutions unattainable by many species, regardless of technological advancement." Kai whispered beside her, "See, this is why humans shine. Not because we are the strongest, but because we can adapt, create, and empathize in ways others cannot." Leora nodded, smiling. "I guess all those late nights, the mistakes, and the improvisations, they really mattered." Next, the delegates presented a series of complex simulations, designed to gauge the broader implications of humans' abilities. They showed scenarios across multiple planets, involving problems that span technical, social, and environmental challenges. The point was clear. Humans could thrive in situations others might consider impossible. Leora studied the simulations carefully, recognizing patterns and suggesting solutions that combined practical logic with empathy. Kai assisted by coordinating communication and ensuring that each idea was executed efficiently. Aura floated beside them, projecting the live feedback. Observation. Humans consistently demonstrate innovative solutions that integrate technical knowledge, adaptive thinking, and moral reasoning. Humans excel in unpredictability and collaboration. Leora's grin widened. Humans could shine not just in small-scale challenges, but in large, complex systems. This was proof that humans, creativity and adaptability could influence entire civilizations, even those far more technologically advanced. Finally, the delegates moved to the ceremonial portion of recognition. They created a holographic display of humans' contributions, examples of human ingenuity across the galaxy, solutions to crises, and innovations in both technology and diplomacy. Leora and Kai stood together, observing the display with awe. The delegates' harmonic voices filled the room. Humans have shown excellence in adaptive intelligence, creativity, and empathy. Your responses to the evaluations are being integrated into cross-species strategic knowledge. Human potential is now formally recognized. Leora's chest swelled with pride. Humans were no longer underestimated. Their brilliance was acknowledged not just by Kai or herself, but by beings from multiple star systems. Kai looked at her with a quiet smile. "You did it, Leora. You didn't just pass a test, you proved that humans are remarkable." Leora laughed softly, shaking her head in disbelief. "I still can't believe it. All it took was thinking like a human," Kai chuckled. "Exactly, and sometimes that's the hardest thing for others to understand." After the official recognition, the delegates departed, leaving Leora and Kai alone in the quiet glow of the residence. The city of Novara sparkled below, peaceful and serene, a perfect reflection of the success and calm after the storm. Leora sank into a chair, letting out a long, contented sigh. "It's over," she said softly, "all of it. The challenges, the improvisations, the drones, the artifacts, it's done." Kai nodded. "For now. But the impact of what you've done will last far longer than this residence or even this city. Humans have shown that they can adapt, think creatively, and act with empathy. That's a statement across the galaxy." Leora smiled, a quiet warmth filling her. She had started this journey worried about bureaucracy, deadlines, and the absurdity of needing a husband overnight. Yet in the process, she had discovered the true strength of humans: ingenuity, creativity, and moral intelligence. And to think, she said softly, all this started with a simple, ridiculous request. Kai laughed. Sometimes the smallest, strangest moments reveal the most about us. Leora leaned back, letting the city lights and the twin moons above wash over her. She thought about the days ahead, the projects she could now pursue, the new ideas she could explore, and the growing understanding that humans were capable of brilliance on a galactic scale. She turned to Kai. "Do you think we've really changed how they see humans?" Kai nodded. "Absolutely, and it's not just them. You've seen it too, haven't you? What humans can do when they trust themselves, work together, and embrace their creativity." Leora smiled. "I have, and it feels incredible." As the evening deepened, they sat in quiet reflection. Leora's thoughts wandered to the experiences of the past few days. The chaotic mornings in the kitchen, the improvised problem-solving with drones, the alien artifacts that challenged her logic, and the social negotiations that tested her patience and empathy. Each moment had been a learning experience, a chance to grow, and a way to demonstrate the brilliance of humans. Kai observed her silently, sensing her quiet pride. "You've shown what humans are capable of," he said gently. "Not through power, not through technology, but through thought, empathy, and creativity. That's what makes you extraordinary." Leora nodded, feeling a sense of fulfillment she had never known before. "And it's not just about proving it to them," she said softly. "It's about realizing it ourselves." Kai smiled. "Exactly. Humans have always had the potential. Now others can see it too." The night passed peacefully, the city below glowing softly under the twin moons. Leora lay in her room, thinking about the journey that had started with a simple, urgent request, a husband by tomorrow. What had begun as a frantic problem had turned into a triumph of humanity's strengths. She had adapted, improvised, and collaborated. She had solved problems no one thought possible, and she had proven that humans were remarkable. Kai knocked gently on her door. "Sleep well?" he asked. "Better than I have in days," Leora replied with a smile. Kai nodded. "Rest. Tomorrow you'll reflect on what you've accomplished. But tonight, let it sink in. You've shown the galaxy the brilliance of being human." Leora closed her eyes, a contented smile on her face. She had faced the impossible, embraced her human ingenuity, and come out victorious. The galaxy had seen what humans were capable of, and she knew that their recognition would ripple far beyond this city, far beyond this moment. And as she drifted into sleep, she realized something else. The journey had also brought her closer to Kai, to collaboration, and to the quiet understanding that humans, at their best, could shine brightest when they worked together. Tomorrow was a new day, full of possibilities. But tonight, Leora allowed herself to rest in the glow of triumph. Humans were brilliant. Humans were adaptable. Humans were capable of extraordinary things. And she, Leora, had lived proof of it.